Hello again. We are carrying on with the course creation for a college level new media course. This is for the Department of Communications. If you are just interested in learning more about what new media means, what you might expect from a course, then this is a good place to be. If you are a college instructor and you are preparing any college course and don't know where to start, then this is a good one too. Even if the course isn't new media, then you can kind of follow through the process that I take. I use publicly available tools. I'm using ChatGPT, Google Docs, and some simple Google searches in order to really get a sort of a brainstorming session going on what I want inside this class and how I want it to progress. And then I'm going to use that as ways of generating content and assignments and things like that. So the background is that we are creating a new media course at the college I work for, and I need to have this up and ready. So I thought I would include new media technology in its creation in order to help move that forward. Now, just to give you a little background, so far what we've done is we've taken the course outline of record. Now, you could find a course outline of record uh, at any college that you happen to be working at or are attending or are just curious and looking more into it. And you can find the course outline of record in whatever sort of curriculum committee they have set up. And so usually online, there's ways of looking up the course outline of record. And then within that course outline of record, there is an outline of the things that they sort of expect to be covered in this course, what you might expect. And so that's what I did for the new media course, and it outlined how the new media has affected these different type of human situations where communication occurs, and how new media has inserted itself into things like the presentation of yourself, professional communication, personal, intimate. And so then what I did was I took that and I went into ChatGPT and asked it to generate a course schedule for a 16-week course based on that outline of record. And the results I brought and put into the same document, but I modified it so it kind of fit with something that I was a little bit more comfortable with and felt like it made more sense of a progression. So what we're doing today is we're going to be focusing on week one. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock out these week by week for the remainder of the series. I'm not necessarily going to be using one episode per week, but I thought this one would be nice and easy, discussing just the definition of new media. Now, the way I like to work is I'm so fascinated with what ChatGPT churns out that I like getting its feedback first and then comparing it to what I would have done. So I try to give it, easy prompts. And so I'm going to take this and then we're going to go back to ChatGPT. And so I'm going to say, let's build out week one. Generate lecture notes. I'm just going to do parentheses outline for each class meeting. Use this for a starting point. So I'm going to paste in, boom, class one, introduction to new media, defining new media, overview of digital media and its impact, boom, outline. Okay, so we have class one, class two. Class one is introduction to new media. Class two is a history of the internet. History of the internet sounds like it might be kind of boring. It's relevant, but I'm not sure if it's how necessary it is. Okay, it only gives me a little bit more of detail. Introduction to concept of new media. Okay, so I want to be a little bit more specific. So I'm going to do rewrite. Make sure to include the digital, online, and social as part of the definition of new media. Let's do cite sources. Now, here's where it starts getting tricky, y'all. When you start asking ChatGPT to cite sources, in my experience, that's where it's most likely to do what's called hallucinate or make stuff up. ChatGPT 4 is supposed to be better than the previous versions, but I would be very cautious about this. So I want you to be cautious as well. See, now take a look. We have a little bit more definition. New media can utilize digital technology, online and interactive communication to distribute McQuail. Boom, boom, boom. Sources. Okay, where's this? Okay, we're gonna have to look that up. So I could tell you that I wrote the course outline of record, right? I submitted this. I got this definition from a source. I'm pretty sure that source was this textbook right here, the Understanding New Media. I'm almost certain that's what it was, but it's been a little while, and so I have to review that. I have a digital copy of that, and I've been looking it over, but I wanted to kind of start this. So digital format. Okay, so this is good. We have key elements so we're going to want to look up this McQuail. We're going to look up key elements of new media include digital media, online media, and social media. Key elements of new media, Jenkins, 2006. 2006, really? I mean, we're getting close to 20 years old. I mean, I guess that's kind of when they were first defining new media, so that's okay. Digital media refers to any content that's created, stored, transmitted in digital format like images. Okay, yes. Online media encompasses various media forms, including websites, blogs, podcasts. Yes. Social refers to digital platforms and applications that enable users to create, share, and interact with content. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this whole thing. I want to save this. Okay. Now remember the little trick when you're doing the saving. And so we have the overall. I'm going to do Command Enter. We're going to do week 1. So we submit that there. I'm going to highlight all of it, and then I'm just do a Command \, and that removes the formatting there. New media can be defined broadly. And so what I want to do is I want to take a look and see these sources. 2010 is mass communication theory. So we're just going to do simple Google searches. There it is. McQuail's mass communication theory. Oh, so is it? Okay. I thought, okay. I'm sorry. I'm tripping out because of the formatting. I believe that titles are supposed to be italicized now. I believe back in the, I think that it was the publication, the article title might have been underlined. Oh man, they've made changes. I'm that old that the standards have changed that much that I forget what they used to be. Okay. Sage Publications, McQuail's mass communication theory, Google Books. Now let's just take a look at Amazon. 6th edition. Okay. Benchmark for studying mass communication theory of more than 25 years remains most authoritative and comprehensive introduction to the field of unmatched coverage of research literature. So one of the issues with the course that we're offering is that we want to distinguish it from mass communication. So new media is supposed to, while there is significant overlap, we want to make sure that it is distinct. And I'm only saying that because I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, that almost looks like a textbook, but I don't want to use that textbook for this course because I want it to be like, I want to focus on new media. I want the textbook to be about new media, and I don't think that exists quite yet, and I don't want to cut corners by doing this. Still, this is, I think, is a good source. All right, I'm just going to make a little note. Okay, so sometimes it hallucinates, right? And I want to make sure that it's like, Yeah. Confirmed. So let's take a look at that. Let's see what can I get from here. What happens if I just Google that? Just double check. You see how I'm double checking ChatGPT because I don't want it to BS me. Okay. Look at that. McQuail is crossed out. Change the news, consumption, distribution. What is new media? Southern New Hampshire. This one just says it's delivered digitally. Okay. So in order to, man, I mean, I don't mind spending, $35 for a book, 123. See, this is how textbooks are these days, right? That that 123 is like the lowest that you can get, and then you hopefully can get the most recent edition and things like that. It's been tough. Okay, let's take a look at a sample here. Okay. You can learn a lot about a book about the just looking at the table of contents. Introduction to the book, Rise of Mass Media, New Theory. That's interesting. 135. I wonder if I can go to page 135. No, probably not. Darn it. Okay. Online readings. So look, if I go down to, how far does it go? Come on. Nope. Oh, and so it gives a little bit of section in the middle, and then you could jump to the end. I wonder if it only gives the first few books. Pages, oh yeah, pages 44 on are not included in the sample. All right. Well, so what I'd probably do next is I would see if my library has that available, and I would go to my campus library and check that out from there. And so I'm going to, yeah, that one's not bad. Key elements new media include digital media, online, social media. Who's this Jenkins person? Jenkins, convergence culture, where old and new media collide. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I promise I won't make you sit through every single one of these, but if you're watching this, then you probably want to see what the results are. Henry Jenkins, so JSTOR. I know my college has JSTOR, so I could probably get that through there. Press. Okay. Do they have any? Oh, table of contents. Acknowledgement. Buying into, we are being sold on reality television. Okay. The Matrix of Transmedia Storytelling. This looks like a collection of essays, probably. Maybe Henry Jenkins is the editor. Do they have a... Just looking at what these links are for. Okay, I don't understand. All right. So these ones are interesting. I'm not sure it's very helpful at this stage of my, but I am going to confirm that. Where is it? That it's a real source. Just making a note for myself, that I actually checked it out and it does. Use it, inventing the internet. Okay. Let's see here. Digital media refer to any content that's created, stored, and transmitted in digital formats such as... Okay, I'll come back to that one. Online media digital media, online media, social media. Okay. Like you don't necessarily need a source citation for that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is one of the questions I have, give examples media. I want to give examples that don't meet the new media standards. And I can think of some, but again, like I like seeing what they're talking about. So traditional print media, television, film, photography, billboards. Okay. Static advertisement. Yeah, those are old school. Those and a lot of these are ones I've already thought about. Photography. And so like the interactivity is one of the interesting parts. Like what I mean by social media. Um, uh, so I'm going to ask for give an expanded explanation of the of new media. I want to see what it says about that. Give an expanded explanation of the digital online social elements of new media. I really want to kind of, pry those open and explain how they differentiate from other types of media. And so I want to get some examples and all right, and really because I'm thinking in week one, I want to have a discussion about these three elements. All right. I want them to either in a written assignment or some sort of group discussion talk about these elements. Okay. Digital is easy. Digital technology for creation distribution, unlike analog digital media. So analog, yeah. I want to talk about binary code. That's a good one for so these help me just helping sort of explain it in real terms, common terms. Here we go. You know what? I think I might do this here. Because what I want to do eventually is I want to kind of build this out carefully enough where I could start like generating lecture notes and scripts, especially for like video content that I can assign for viewing. Um, Digital photos, music files, digital nature. Online media encompasses all forms of media that are accessed and distributed through the internet. So it can't just be digital. So like just because you have uh so like an iPod, the old school iPods, right? With just music, while that was digital, it wasn't necessarily online. And so uh I kind of we need to have a discussion about whether it needs to be just one of these things or all three of them. I think that new media kind of incorporates all three of them. So, like digital music isn't necessarily, does that mean that digital music isn't new music in and of itself or new media in and of itself? Here, let's do that. So, let's do, and, and so let's do some discussion questions. Does new media have to have all three elements be true? Okay, so let's generate some discussion questions here. Generate some discussion. These three elements of new. Generate some discussion questions about these three elements of new media. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, a lot of them. How has the transition from analog to digital media impacted the creation, distribution, and consumption of content? What are the advantages and disadvantages of digital media in terms of accessibility? How has the proliferation of digital media formats influenced storytelling and narrative techniques? And in what ways has digital media influenced democratization of content? How do digital media technologies such as VR and augmented reality enhance user experience? Yeah, we're going to definitely talk about those different things. Okay, got a little fly in my face here bothering me. Online media. What are the benefits and challenges of online media? How are some online media transformed traditional media industry? Oh my God, stop it. Get out of my face. How does the right online platform influence monetization of content? Explore the implications of online media. So we don't need to get into all these, but I am going to collect these ones. Social media. How has social media reshaped interpersonal communication? Discuss the role. So see, these are questions that you don't necessarily ask on the first day, but you could ask, in week 3 or 4. And around midterms and finals. Here's some discussion questions to explore 3 elements. Okay. So how do I want? So I usually like just, I don't know, sometimes people are a little hesitant to get started in the course. You know, I mean, getting them to start talking on day 1 is difficult, and so a lot of them are completely comfortable listening. And for things like defining these terms, I think, preparing a good set of notes so you could sort of just give them a well prepared, informative session is, I think, the way I'm going to go with this one. So the discussion questions might be, I might be saving those for later. I don't see them actually playing a role in the very first week. So in class 1, like, we're also going to cover, so class 1, you cover the syllabus, but also, like, all right, what the hell are we talking about? What is new media? And so now what I do like doing is, here, I'm going to close these off here, is like Kahoot. Well, the discussion questions aren't good for Kahoot. A little, I wonder if there are ways that people can submit discussion questions. I want to look that up when I'm not on here. Okay, so what we got here is a lot of elements here online. So I love those 3 parts. I love it when you have those 3 parts, and like, those are definitely going to be questions on, like, an exam. Those 3 particular parts, right? Defining new media, social media, digital. Yeah. Okay. And so those are going to be the big 3. And I can unpack that a little bit more. I think what I want to do now is, let's generate an outline for a 1-hour lecture on the definition of new media. Now, I need to. I'm also going to be doing reading, like my copy of Understanding New Media is going to be part of that as well. Um, but let's take a look here. I'm going to compare that with something like this. Um, so we meet for an hour and a half hour could just be going over the syllabus. In fact, I like starting with the lecture. It's like, all right, this is the topic we're talking about. And you go through, it's like, all right, and so that's the topic. Now let me explain the syllabus. How are we going to tackle this topic? All right. So it's a nice little introduction for people, and then follow up with the syllabus. Otherwise, when you do it backwards, it really is just it feels more bureaucratic that way, where people are just like, okay, this is administration and pushing papers and stuff like that. It's like, no, let's start with why is this subject interesting, and then get into the nuts and bolts on about how we are going to tackle it. Okay. So I got introduce topic, highlight the importance of understanding new media in a digital age, provide overview of the lecture structure. Does that mean these things? Defining new media, evolution, significance, characteristics of new media. I like these. I like these. So when we're defining it, like here's those three definitions. But look at how it's only. Why do they do ABC 1, 2, 3? What the hell is that about? Oh, because it gets into the elements is part C. Differentiating new media from traditional media. This I like it. I do like it. Evolution and significance in new media. Tracing historical development, milestones, the impact of new media on communication, culture, and society. Yeah, so that'd be really brief. Okay, these are all really overview stuff. Interactivity, convergence, participatory. I'm interested what they like. Convergence can mean a few things, but okay. But in terms of new media and how the convergence of different media forms, I'm interested in that, and I probably want to expand upon that. But I've been going at it for a good 30 minutes already. The role of user-generated content, digital distribution, accessibility. Highlighting successful examples in new media. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So, outline. So here we go. So, and remember, you just selected all, command backslash, and there you go. Case studies and examples. I might just get rid of the case studies and examples. Those could be gotten rid of. I wonder, characteristics and versus elements. Okay. I'll look at that a little bit more. All right. So I think that it's going pretty well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing for the history of the internet. Let's take a look at what they put on the history of the internet evolution. This is kind of boring. Milestones and key development. Hmm. So what I'm thinking is that this could be online content. This could be a reading assignment. And I think I want to do. I think I want to talk about the definition of new media for both classes, right? And then the first class might be me talking with them a little bit more. The second class, maybe I could start prying open a little bit of participation. But the way that we have this course set up is that it's a large lecture hall. And so I could have up to 130 students. So how to get student participation in a large group like that, I think is going to be important to plan for. There are ways of doing it, but I'm so used to having a normal cohort of students. What I mean by normal is around 30, maybe between 20 and 30. And so I think that there are certain techniques that you want to refamiliarize yourself with when you get into large lecture halls, because it does not operate in the exact same way. So getting people to participate in that environment is a different beast. And I just kind of want to refamiliarize myself with that. But yeah, I think the history of the internet is going to be a homework type thing. I think I'm going to maybe I could find a nice little article. So let's see. Let's take a look here. Uh, so suggest some articles that to read that explain the history of the internet in a way that a college freshman would understand. So certainly here's some history of the internet in a nutshell, concise yet comprehensive, a brief history of the internet. I like these ones. Okay, nsf.gov, maybe. I'm gonna have to look into each one of these. Take a look at that. Boom, page not found. See that? Let's take a look at these. Sources, we'll just, because they are at the end there, I'm going to do this. Boom. Let's take a look at see, look at this beginner's guide to SEO. That's not the same thing. This one is broken, right? Not found. But what we can do is a brief history of the internet by, let's just search it up. MIT, not bad. Brief history of the internet. I mean, it's a 10-page read. Yeah, this one's looking all right. Oh, but like I was saying, it's hella boring. Let's just put the link in there. Okay. This resource offers a detailed historical account. I'm not sure, like the invention of the internet, Time magazine. Does this one work? Nope. Oh, how stuff works. Reader friendly approach. I do like how stuff works. This is the type of, and I do feel kind of comfortable, like because this is a new media course that like finding like credible sources on the internet, especially when it has stuff like, like sharing stuff. Like so the PDF still strikes to me as old media, right? Traditional media. This is just like a straight up publication, but something like this where you have to navigate the different pop-ups and things like that, I think I might want to go with this one here. So I do like the how stuff works. Oh, and the link is working, right? Yeah, I'm liking that one. I'm liking that one. And so you could, and I don't want to have really difficult reading assignments right off the bat, especially for intimidation and things like that. The internet protocol. Yeah, it's frequently asked questions. Okay, and they could and if they want to read more, then it kind of directs them to other stuff. All right, so I like that one. And it might just be I might just write a video and generate a video that way. Okay. So, all right. So, well, just to let you know, I'm gonna call it at this moment right now, but I still have some work to do. Some of what that work is some of the stuff requires additional content for students to digest. So it could just be collecting these articles and putting them in um, a an organization for students to access them and understand what they need to do, maybe have some discussion questions about the reading, so they have to respond to those questions through an assignment on their learning management system. uh, but I also am going to probably generate scripts and video lessons for them to watch that are going to be largely generated by ChatGPT, but have the content that I want them to really access and have the ability to digest as part of the course. Um, that stuff, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'll make that available on our Patreon page, which we'll build out. And so if you want any of that information, go ahead and feel free to subscribe to our Patreon, and you can have access to all of that learning content that I'm generating. All right, but other than that, what's going to happen is that I'm going to put in a little bit of work on some of this stuff, and then we'll come back and we'll get to work on the next section, which is about how new media affects principles of communication. All right, all right. I look forward to it. See you then.